The last time I made a video on my own improvement in chess was almost 2 years ago when I hit 2,300 ELO. The reason I haven't made a video like that since is because I haven't gotten any better. Instead, I've spent the last year building a catalog of videos on this channel, which of course I have loved doing, but it has meant that my rating has stagnated since. So to finally get past 2,300 ELO, I devised a genius plan. Over the next 6 months, I'll be playing more chess than I ever have before. Each week on the channel, I'll be uploading a video just like this one, showing one of the most instructive games from the past week and how much ELO I gained. But of course, I can't fully focus on chess if I am talking the whole time. I do have a solution to this, but you'll have to wait until the first game of this video to find out what it is. In each episode, we'll also bring on a celebrity guest to help analyze the game once it's played. If you guys want to see anyone on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comments. So my plan to reach 2,400 ELO is simple. Make a promise to my 51,000 subscribers that I'm going to reach it within a certain time frame, and use that pressure to get me over the line whilst documenting the entire experience. If you guys would also like to be a part of the journey, feel free to join my Discord, which I'll leave a link for in the description below, or you guys can subscribe to the channel to be notified whenever I post a video. But starting at 2,167 ELO on Lichess, with a peak rating of 2,300 ELO, let's get into the first week of our rating climb. Hello everyone, we are doing the post-game commentary for the first episode of this series. This was my grand idea. Lots of YouTubers are really good at talking and explaining their moves as they go along. I'm not one of those people. And I also kind of think that if those YouTubers just didn't talk, they would probably be a lot higher rated than they are. They probably sacrifice a lot of ELO for the sake of content. But I just cannot speak while I play. It's just impossible for me, so this is my alternative. We're playing a Benoni, which I really love playing. I mentioned this in the analysis at the end. I love playing the Benoni, not because I'm particularly good at it, but because it's just a fun opening to play. Look how many pieces we have on the board always. I do make a mistake in just a second. I'm kind of rushing out of the opening because all of my opponents had been playing so fast, this guy included. You'll see the time situation at the end of the game, but my opponents are just playing so fast, and I just need to be playing faster out of the opening, so rookie 1 was a mistake there, but we'll go over exactly why in the analysis later. Hopefully there are chapters in this video so you guys can skip to the analysis at any point if you wish. Which also, this episode will not have a guest for the analysis, but I do intend on having some people on in this series to help me analyze some games, and I love doing collabs. I'm very fond of collabs. I feel like not enough people do them, and I wanna start doing more than I already do. With most of the opening out of the way, if you guys want to learn openings like I do, you might be interested in the sponsor of today's video, ChessMind. Most courses obsess over memorizing hundreds of opening lines, but ChessMind is built around something different, understanding positions and not just remembering moves. The goal isn't just to know theory, it's to know what to do when theory runs out. That's why the courses on ChessMind only take around an hour to complete, because the priority isn't on memorization, it's positional understanding. For just $7 per month, you can unlock over 50 courses on ChessMind, plus access to their AI coach, personalized puzzles, and training videos hosted by Chilean Grandmaster Maurizio Flores. And with the link in the description, you guys can get 20% off your purchase too. So we get this really cool Benoni position, which is negative 0.4 right now, because I've allowed a bishop to get to g4. This is a really cool move in the Benoni though. Rook a3. It's something I picked up from the engine because you also play rook a3 in the Benko. As the white side, you play rook a3 quite often, and in the Benoni, it's just useful. Like if the rook stays on a1, like none of these files are really gonna fully open, and this b file is gonna fully open, or not fully open, but you get what I mean. There's a backwards pawn on b7, so it just makes a lot of sense for the rook to actually be on the third rank, and suddenly, you know, when that knight gets out of the way on f3, the rook has all of that rank to go to, all of that vision. It can go to the f file, g file, h file, and it becomes such a weapon on the third rank. So if you do the play, the Benoni as the white side, definitely consider adding rook a3 to your repertoire. Such a strong move. I think my position is starting to make a lot of sense now. Queen h4 was not the right move for my opponent, and you can see what I mean. Like, this is why I had to kind of blitz out the openings, because what are my opponents doing? They're just not even thinking. And I want to spend time thinking, otherwise how am I going to get better? If I'm just Of course, out of the opening, you can play a little bit faster because you should generally know the ideas, but in the middle game, I want to be spending my time. I want to be getting better. And I feel like if I'm down on time and in time trouble every game, then that's not going to happen. So I play g3, and I'm looking, okay, my rook is on the 3rd rank, but I don't really think I can ever play g4 to kind of x-ray that queen. So I'm looking for other options. Knight d1 is always on my mind now. Ever since Fabiano Caruana played it against Wei Yi in the candidates, I've just always been looking at it. f4, I didn't like f5, which then led me to my decision to play queen f1, because I realized how annoying of a move just f5 on its own was. And I thought, okay, how can I move my queen with tempo? The queen trade looks like the only option, right? And it is the best move in the position. It should be plus 0.7. You should never even worry about that bishop trading off for anything. That dark square bishop is the strongest piece in black's position, and if they trade it off, they're gonna have a difficult game to play. Their queen goes to h6, and now I'm like, okay, maybe I play f4 here. f4 seems like a decent idea, but there's also knight c4, a little bit more accurate. Obviously, the queen is now attacking that knight on d2, so we do have to move it or block the attack. And knight c4, I mean, it comes with tempo on the d6 pawn. And, I thought knight c4 is just a nice move to play against the Benoni, just in general. But this time, kind of difficult to defend that pawn. The engine, I forget what the engine wants. It wants some weird move here, I'm pretty sure. They played g5, which is an even weirder looking move, but it kind of works. So they're defending with the queen, of course, and I have a couple of ideas here. So I've got the rook on a3, which now there's no queen on d8 attacking the a5 pawn. We can actually move that rook now because there's no need to stay defending the a5 pawn. And there's also a knight on c4 that does the same job. So I'm like, okay, let's get this rook a little bit more active. Because we played g3, the rook is less likely to swing across the full length of the board. So now it makes more sense to kind of commit it to the b file. They passively defend with rook b8, and now I'm thinking, okay, how can I really, really punish that d6 pawn? It's a backwards pawn. My backwards pawn is very, very safe. In fact, it's better than their backwards pawn because it's not frozen. I'm really looking to kind of punish their backwards pawn, and f4 is the way I kind of want to do it. f4, and the threat is f takes g, queen takes, and knight takes d6. So something would fall in this position, and if they take with their pawn, I'm going to take with my queen, and I'm again threatening to remove the defender of the pawn. So queen takes f4, and you can see again, look at my opponent's clock. I'm doing all the thinking, and they're just blitzing out moves. It's incredible. I don't know how people, like, what's the point of even playing rapid if your entire goal is to flag your opponent? It makes no sense to me, but alas, I don't know why I calculated bishop e5 hangs the queen, but now we've got this position. Looks very good. I'll let you guys, have a couple of seconds, pause the video. What's winning here? What do you think the winning plan is for white? I'll let you guys think about it for a second. Okay, now I'm going to spoil it. King f2 and just playing the most slow game ever. That's the way you win. King f2, king f3, h4, h5. Like, those are the moves you need to play. Which is like kind of obvious once I say it, but there are so many weaknesses in the position. Like, you think, okay, when do we go e5? When do we go knight a4? Like, when do we play these moves? And it's you just don't. You just simply play king f2, king f3, and what does black do in this position? That's what you're supposed to do. I was a little bit worried about, and the whole reason I did go king f2 was because I thought, okay, knight f6 is kind of annoying. I feel like knight f6 might be annoying at some stage, but then he played f6, and I'm like, okay, the knight can't go to f6 anymore, so there's no real problem. I did then see, okay, is f5 a problem? Maybe that becomes something now, but now, the knight can't go to f6, there's no need to go king f3, so now I feel like is the right time to stop bringing the knight, which is not terrible. Like, you can, knight a4 is fine. But basically, the engine doesn't want you to change the position drastically here. Like, even after king f7, it's like, okay, but what now? What now for black? The rook has to stay defending that b7 pawn. You can trade this knight, and it doesn't make a huge difference to the position, but what you shouldn't do is what I did in this game. I kind of looked to make progress when I could have made little incremental progress first. Again, my opponent's just not thinking, so I have to, play a little bit faster than I would have liked. That's kind of annoying. This is like every game that I played today was like my opponents were just not thinking at all, so I had to think on my clock, and in a lot of games I had completely winning positions, but I lost on time. And you guys will get to see at the end of the video, after the analysis, how much ELO I gained from my session today. I played like a little, I think 10 games today, or something around 10 games. And I said the starting ELO in the title. We're at 2,179 ELO right now, so we've obviously gone up. But you guys will see exactly how much we go up at the end of the video. So yeah, now I'm calculating e5, which is not the right idea. Yeah, I should have just played king f3 and just slowly played this position. No need to rush whatsoever. There's just no need to rush at all. But it's not the end of the world. It's not a losing position, not a losing move. e5 just gives away a little bit of the advantage because now black can do something. Because you've opened up the position, black has a little bit of improving to do when they didn't really have any to do before. There was no need to rush this move e5. So yeah, I'm just looking to kind of crack open the center because my rook is on the same file as their king. That's my idea anyway. And I'm just looking for a way into this position. So f takes, pawn takes, and then I can play knight takes e5. And there's a whole bunch of nice ideas, but none of them really work out as well as maybe I was hoping they would. So you can take on e5, but after knight takes, rook takes, there's this move king d6, which I'll wait for it to get on the board because I don't want to like rattle off a bunch of moves and have half of the audience not understand what they mean or what I'm trying to actually do. But yeah, rook takes, and then they've got this kind of move king d6 to go and attack my rook. But I do have knight c4 in that position. I'm looking at rook h5, but knight c4 is a little bit more hyper accurate. Just allowing the b6 square for that rook simultaneously, whilst also bringing back the knight with a check, also defending the rook. So this is a nice move. Also, you can see I'm getting down on time again. Like my opponent spent 1 minute on the last 10 moves, and I've spent like 1.5. So it's kind of difficult for me to play with such little time, so I've always got to be very conscious of the end games that I trade into. Like, am I going to have enough time to convert this? My opponent goes king d7 there, and I'm kind of just wondering, okay, what even do I play here? Like, it's not so simple, and at this point I'm realizing, okay, my advantage is seemingly gone. Seemingly, I think it's like plus 0.7 in this position or something, so it's not like I've not thrown it all away, but it's definitely not the +2 that it used to be or whatever the evaluation was. I can't quite remember. But yeah, I play rook h5 here, but there is just the simple h6 there. And now I'm thinking, okay, how can I get in? I want to keep the rook on the b file because I feel like the b6 square maybe is going to be very useful. But now I've also got a little bit of a plan. There's a plan to dive the knight into e5, which can come with some really nasty ideas. I was thinking that maybe rook b6 instead of rook f5 would have been good, but I think it's kind of very similar, like they're not really too much different. We'll look at that in the analysis as well. But they play rook e4, trying to attack my knights, but I've got this move rook e5, and because of the pawn on d5, the king actually can't really come down to d6, because if they take that pawn on d5, I'm probably going to get like, I think knight d7 discovered check and win the rook, so they can't do that. But there's another thing that they can't do, and I think I realized this at some point in a few moments, that there's actually no moves for black. Like, I'm pretty sure there's just not a single move that they can play. All of them lose, which is really funny. So if they go to like king e8, you can go rook takes f8 check, and then once the king takes, you can play rook d7 check, winning the rook, so you're up a knight. But you know, with this amount of time and with the pawn structure, it's actually not a simple endgame to win at all. So they do play this move. I didn't see it straight away, but the puzzle rushes do eventually pay off. I'm thinking this move, knight c6, this is not really forcing, is it? But then I see, okay, this is very forcing. And you can see my reaction. Don't celebrate too soon, bro. Yeah, sacrificing the rook for the bishop. The king has to take here, there's no choice. And then you can check and pick up the rook. But it's not over, because he's got great king activity, my pawns are very stretched, and my knight couldn't be less active if it tried. So, yeah, I'm thinking here, what's the best way to do this? Knight takes, I don't really think I have a choice. After the move rook a4 from black, I really should have played rook b5, which I didn't see, which would have just instantly won the pawn, basically. But instead I go for this check, or I go for something weird, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I go for rook h7, which is not a terrible move, it's just not as straightforward as it could have been. Yeah, we go for this check on c7. This knight is just begging to get into the game somehow. It really, really needs to get into the game. My opponent brings their king to the center of the board. We take on h6, and now we can swing across to the b file to defend that b pawn. My opponent immediately comes with a threat of c4, threatening to go c3 because the pawn is pinned to the king, so I jog my king up to the 3rd rank to defend it, and now I'm thinking, okay, what do I do? How do I get this knight into the game? How do I do anything in this position? I was thinking h4, it's futile, it'll just come around to h1, but I end up landing on, with less than a minute to go, I land on the best move with rook b5 check, prying the king away, allowing myself to get in. I should have just played king d4. King d4 and the game's over. You can abandon that knight. That knight is so unimportant, but I was so tunnel visioned in on making these kind of moves that I ended up with this setup, which is still winning, by the way. So they obviously are going to go with rook h2, and now I take my chance. I'm like, okay, now I get back into the game with my knight. And the idea is, okay, I'm going to block the rook's sight of this pawn on b2 by playing knight d2, and I'm gonna bring my king all the way under to the other side on c2, and this setup is surely winning. It's actually not so difficult. Even in the analysis, I was kind of struggling to figure it out, and the engine just wanted you to repeat moves like the engine does sometimes. But basically, the correct setup here is to play king c2, and king from this position, king b1 and king a2. You need to do that. That's the only way to progress, really. Maybe there's like a secondary way, but in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I have to check, like, I need to find a way to get this knight out of the game, but then I go king c1, and it's like, okay, then he just has rook h1, and I didn't realize that I had the setup correct the first time. So I just never go back to d8 and realize, okay, you know, the king has to go to a2, that's the way to go, like, and then I end up repeating moves. We'll jump into the analysis really quickly. We'll go back, I know it started already, but we'll jump into the analysis really quickly so you guys can see my immediate thoughts after the game, and I'll see you all in the analysis. Oh, I just got like into no time. So annoying. Okay, so it's Benoni. I thought this was really good, this opening at least. E4, takes, this is like exactly how I want to play. Bishop check here, A4, yep, correct. So this theory is all right. Knight F3, maybe I should have played H3 here, I don't know. No, H3 there's this, yeah, so I was right that you need a castle. Here, Bishop D3, here, yeah. You need to play knight d2, so there was a way to get rid of this bishop, and if the bishop lands here now, you probably just play f3, right? Yeah, and you should be much better. So I was wrong there, you shouldn't have played rook e8, that did feel wrong, and now my advantage is mostly gone. Yeah, I think a5 is a fine move. Like, h3 is just kind of forcing the inevitable, right? I don't think there's necessarily a massive advantage to playing this, practically speaking at least. I just thought, a5, the queen can never come here, so we can now move our bishop to f4. That was my thinking. So now f4, we can bring the bishop in. Now I take. The engine really hates what I'm doing with this position, but I quite like it. Bringing the rook up. I feel like with long-term plans, this makes a lot of sense. I don't know. To me, at least, this is like, I'm liking this position. I think it's slightly better for white. They go back. I drop my bishop back. Again, it wants you to play h3, but I don't know. I don't want my queen to be here. I want my queen to be in a much more flexible position. I play bishop e2, now knight d2, and see, now I've got both of my knights and I've got a flexible queen, and I'm really happy with this position. And yeah, queen h4, not a move I think is good whatsoever. g3, I mean, there's probably multiple ways to do it, but g3, and then I thought, okay, there's the rook here, but I don't really see anything. I think just like trying to get this queen out, and queen f1 is the correct move. Just trying to get the queen out makes the most sense to me. And then they play queen g5, and I'm like, okay, let's attack the pawn. This is just a great move for my knight anyway. We're +1 now, so we've fully regained the advantage. Yeah, maybe knight e5, but again, I guess you just drop the piece, like here, check. Yeah, this is just like, it all looks good for me. Like if you go here, I'm gonna go here, and I've just, actually not even here, you're gonna go e5. So you've got to think about it a little bit, but yeah, this just all looks very good for for white. So they played g5 to try and defend it, and I'm like, okay, let's start with rook b4, just attacking another piece, and you know, we brought the rook to a3 for a reason, to get it active later on in the game. Often you sweep along the entire rank. You play like knight d1 and the rook comes all the way over, but you know, you can also play rook b3. They bring their rook, and I'm like, okay, now we can go for f4, threatening to take and take this pawn. So they take, and they do it like this. So I thought that bishop here was a little bit better. Oh, sorry, this just hangs the queen. Okay, that's why they didn't play that. That makes a lot of sense. But they should have played like queen h6 and just dropped the pawn. Okay, so I don't think that queen takes f4 is a terrible move then. G takes, and now they needed to play bishop d4 check, but they logically go back and defend the d6 pawn. Very difficult to say why this is +3. I guess the engine just sees very deep, but in my head I'm like, damn, I've got to play carefully here, but you can just play king f2 like I did. It's the top engine move, and just kind of improve your position slowly. They play f6, which I thought was a bad move because now the knight can't get there. So I was like, okay, now I can try and trade this knight off and get my rook up here and do some more attacking. So they bring their king, I bring my knight, they bring their king, and I'm like, okay, let's crack open the center now. Engine doesn't love it. It thinks just, you know, just get a little bit closer. There's nothing to be worried about. And I guess it's true, like you can kind of just bring the rook around maybe. They've just not got much progress to make. So opening up the game and giving them more progress to make just doesn't make sense. So it takes. And then I thought, okay, let's play knight c4 check. And you could have taken here, but I liked rook h5, just going after the pawn. They drop back, and now we've got this. And we have ideas of sacrificing here. But the knight is also going to come in. I thought this was a bad move. I thought even I could have played rook here. I thought that maybe, oh sorry, not this, but here, and then rook here. Maybe was a decent idea too, because if this, then we get check. And I thought this position was also nice, but maybe, you know, it's just kind of too similar to be that much better. But we get this position anyway with a check, and they give us this fork here, but it's still very difficult because he's got such an active king, and we've got what, 3 pawn islands, so it's very difficult. Takes. I wonder how the engine wants us to do it. Oh, it wants rook b5. I've got a minute 23. I should be finding rook b5, but I go for this long way out instead. Bring the rook back. I have to get off here because he's going for c3, so king e3. Then I'm like, okay, rook b5 check, get the king away. I should have just gone up. You can ditch the knight. Oh my god, you can just ditch the knight. I just don't have the time. Now his king's more active. I'm getting my knight back into the game. I also think I hang my knight a couple times in this endgame too. But I get to a decent position. Like, this should be a win, but I've got 30 seconds. You need to just play like rook g8, let him come back here. What do you need to do actually? How do you win this? This is interesting. Let's say g5 check, king b4, rook g8 here. Okay, the engine is just giving me a bunch of repeating moves. That's helpful. What is this? Rook e8. Okay, let's say rook e8. You go here. It's not helpful. Okay. I would actually need to sit and think about how I would... Oh, actually, maybe just this. And then you can come down to b1. Yeah, I think you need to play rook d8 and then come all the way around here. And let's say like he keeps shuffling moves. Now you can go to a2. If rook h1, now maybe you can go check and pick up the pawn. That makes sense. Okay. Well, the engine didn't really help me get there, but yeah, and then this is just a repetition of moves, and I draw the game. But I don't know. I feel like it's not the end of the world. A draw, you don't lose ELO, and I feel like I played very well. I feel like I'm getting so much better at understanding the Benoni, because the Benoni is not... Theoretically, the Benoni is very easy to learn. Because of the way that black sets up, it's very easy to memorize the moves. What's difficult is to figure out how you're supposed to proceed in the middle game. Like rook e1, and knowing how important moves like bishop g4 are, these are the type of things that are very difficult to learn in the Benoni, and you can only get better at them by playing it a bunch of times. And I feel like I'm getting a lot better. Like, if you guys saw my Benoni games, and hopefully you guys will, like, over the next 6 months, hopefully you guys will see the progression in how good I play against certain openings. But I think that, you know, compared to 6 months ago, I play the Benoni way better than I used to. Like, I found so many new ideas that I like to go for, like this a3, rook a3 stuff. Is just so fun to play with, and it's one of my favorite openings to come up against, not because I'm particularly good at playing against it in comparison to my other openings, but like let me see what, yeah, like I don't know how long ago this is, but I've got a 33% win rate against the Benoni, but I love playing against it. It's just so fun. There's never a boring game with it. But yeah, this is an interesting game. Shame to get a draw in the end, but we didn't lose. That's the main thing. I'll let you guys know, I'll put it on screen right now, how much ELO we've gained over the last 10 games. I don't want this to be the first game and just have nothing else with it. So we'll have played 10 games when this episode is released, and then by next episode, we'll have another 10 games as well. So I'll let you guys know what ELO we ended up on after the 10 games. That'll be somewhere on screen right now. But I hope you all enjoyed today's episode. Next episode, hopefully we'll have a guest on for the analysis section. So this section here, hopefully we'll have someone on. So you guys have that to look forward to. But I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.